Back here at the Blue Gym here at Columbia University, Harris Eisenberg with Joe Nord, former Columbia assistant. Glad you're with us. Latest pin coming from Kai Owen of Columbia. Before we get this going, we want to thank our amazing crew because they've been here early. But here's the latest replay. Kai Owen on that pin. Over on the outside. Was able to turn him over. Earn a fall victory for Columbia.
Yeah, he took that risk, got on the back, went to work. This is a really, I think, an interesting match. We got Richard Fedalen and Noah Tapia, and both guys have Greco-Roman experience and pretty good success at that level. Tapia was an All-American in high school in Greco-Roman, and Richard is a very well-accoladed Greco wrestler. So he's made a U20 world team, competed a bunch internationally, has wrestled at the senior level in Greco and placed at the U.S. Open, I believe, or U.S. even trials. And so these guys are already going upper body. They can almost see as soon as they get in the ties, their stance is getting a little higher, and that's very. I mean, that's Greco right there for you.
First time Fedelin's in the rankings too. He comes in as the number 32 ranked wrestler at 149. Mentioned that U.S. Open. It was a first place finish at the U20 Greco-Roman division, highlighting a trip to Vegas in the 2023 U.S. Open. Fedalen Jr. out of Maryland.
Yeah, Richard's, I mean, we call this, just great hand fighting, really. Like, he's really heavy with the hands, always digging hard for underhooks, trying to pull guys into front heads. It's kind of like nowhere to run. If you can't stand in there and match the hand fight, it's kind of nowhere to run.
3 points for Fedalen. It's a takedown on the outside.
Coach Franco threw the brick. He thought that was a little too quick on the takedown call. There is reaction time in college wrestling, so in the situation where Tapia threw that headlock, kind of slipped off Fedalen, he does have a second to kind of regain himself and try to turn it into a scramble. The question is, so Coach Franco had the opportunity to take the brick back away because it ended up being a takedown, and so they're not gonna overturn that call after it ended up being wrestling continued and it ended up being a takedown. So they gave Coach Franco his brick back, and he's got it to use it if he needs it.
Fedalen working on top here, breaking down. Tapia again, got a hold on Tapia's right side, now to the left wrist. Fedalen all over, trying to use his legs. See on your screen just a second ago that inside hook of the left leg.
Yeah, he's got an ankle hooked, and he doesn't have a wrist, but he is off to the side. He's got that ankle hooked, and it makes it hard to move. Tapia did a nice job shifting his hip over to clearing his ankle. But Richard's got a lot of good forward pressure there, and that's really what you're looking for in a ride.
Not quite a hook on the ankle from Fedalen here, but it looks like he's got control of Tapia's right side as we wind down the clock here in the first period. Seemed like it was all Richard Fedalen there. A takedown on the outside and just riding out the clock. Already 90 seconds of riding time for Fedalen.
Yeah, Richard's really kind of finding his style and continuing to develop it into working at the college level. He's using that Greco experience that he's had, his hand fighting ability, his underhooks, and just, his body style too. And he's just slowly, getting better and better and transitioning to the college level. Last year, he kind of had to earn every win he got. He did wrestle at the EIWA championships last year and ended up placing. So I think gave him a lot of confidence. He's wrestled at some really high-level tournaments and stuff throughout his career. Had a really good high school career as well.
And Fedalen, you mentioned the Columbia history for him. He was 11-4 as a freshman. You see a guy coming in, you were on the coaching staff. What'd you see out of him early on in his Columbia career?
Yeah, at training, he's very diligent. He's quiet in the room, but he's a kind of a quiet leader. you can kind of see in his wrestling style, he's just always working. He's always going forward. He's always digging for the next tie. He might not be putting 15 points on the board in the first period, but he's working as if he wants to. And I think that's what we saw in Richard last year. Kind of came in, established himself as a leader again, not necessarily vocally in the room, but just through doing all the right things and committing to the process. Also, I mean, for all these guys, for guys like Kion and Richard, and I'm sure a number of other guys on Hofstra's program too, like one of the things these guys we don't see is that these guys have to manage their weight, and it takes a really hardworking, disciplined, and committed wrestler to manage their weight all season. And Richard's one of those guys that, he's big for the weight class, I'd say, and he's just really disciplined. Bad spot here. See if he can punch off his back.
A late reversal here. Tapia. He's got Fedalen on his back, looking for a pin. What a reversal here from Tapia.
Good bridge from Richard. Is it enough time?
Wow. Impressive ending here to the second period. They're going to award 4 back points to Tapia. Did not see that one coming. What did Tapia do so well there? Right at the end, it seemed like a late reversal.
Yeah, I kind of missed a bit of it, but yeah, created a scramble, hopped his hips over, and found his way into that headlock. And again, with his Greco background, I'm sure he knows how to kind of finish the match with a headlock. So he had that thing really tight. Richard was in a bad spot there, but with short time, he did give one really good bridge and give himself enough time to get out of the period. Coach Pritzloff, I think, asking to confirm the score. Was it 3 or 4 points on the back points?
They're going to have the officials come by us for some review.
I'm watching
So we'll get a look at this with the officials as well. It'll show us what Donnie Pritzloff is talking about with the officials, as well as the reversal from Tapia.
Forward. Okay. You got it. No problem. Stop it. Rewind a little bit.
Looks like Tapia got that front headlock locked up tight. Actually, another Greco position really is that front headlock right there from his butt.
Yeah.
If you use your kind of lower abdomen to push your opponent's head into almost his chin down into his chest, you control the head, they say you control the body. So he's got Richard's head buried. Richard's trying to get to an angle to be able to pop his head up. And right when he does, Tapia steps up and over, floats his tips on top, and that's where he puts Richard kind of on his back.
Tapia strong on the upper body of Fedalen. And you saw Fedalen desperately trying to go back to the legs. As the officials are reviewing this one over by us to get our score up to snuff. It reads right now 7-6 in favor of Fedalen. Could change, though, depending on the outcome of this review.
So we're going to get all this? Yeah. On the scoreboard.
We'll get a listen. So the score, I believe, is going to stay the same.
After review, the previous call is confirmed.
And the score is confirmed. So
Tapia 6.
Fedalen had 3 points for a takedown, and then 2 for the reverse, and then 4 back points for Tapia. This is setting us up for a really good final 2 minutes here.
Yeah, Richard's I guess you wouldn't say up by 2 yet, but he is up by 1, and he does currently have ride time. So he could lose that ride time if he gives up a takedown, obviously. But to some degree, you know, he's kind of feeling like he's up by 2 a little bit, which just means, you know, he's strategically probably still looking for a takedown if he can find one, of course, but he doesn't want to over pursue. He's got plenty of room to, you know, take a stall call if he needs it, if it's the right strategic decision. And I think, you know, he should be aware of these things.
Seems like a takedown and a ride will do the justice for Fedalen. Meanwhile, Tapia, again, those points came late. Trying to get high, deep into that left leg, or that right leg of Fedalen, excuse me. Tapia, Fedalen's got a nice grip on the upper body.
I think Fedalen wants to keep him moving here. A stalemate would, you know, be a little less ideal, but Tapia worked up to his feet. He knew he couldn't kill time there. Had to horse himself up and keep moving. A takedown here wins the match for Tapia too. So,
and Tapia going for the single, got deep in that leg for a moment, but Fedalen again controlling the head this time. Fedalen spinning around.
Nice single from Fedalen off a little bit of a drag. Again, another Greco, kind of what you'd think to be a bit more of a Greco technique, but a lot of drags in folk style freestyle as well. But with his background, he used that to get to the single. Tapia with kind of the roll through single we saw, actually similar to Mosher at 165.
20 seconds remain here in the third. Tapia desperately going for a shot. Fedalen sprawled out. Might just stay here, maybe get a stalemate and center it up. 7 seconds. Fedalen snapping the head. Fedalen's got a good grip to lock this one. And Fedalen gets the win with a point of riding time, too. It'll be an 8-6 victory for Richard Fedalen.
Yeah, really nice match. I mean, Tapia put himself in position with kind of that big move, big 7-pointer. But wasn't quite enough. Richard did good work early on and put himself in a position where he was essentially able to make a mistake and still get the win.
165 and 184 were really the two marquee matchups of today. But this one, you could say probably the most action and evenly matched of both sides.